It is time for Boxing Scene's top stories here on ProBox TV, your boxing channel. I am George DeMatteis, joined by the champions. We have Chris Algieri and Paulie Malignaggi joining us here on Top Stories. Well, this Saturday on ESPN, the IBF featherweight title will be on the line as Luis Venado Lopez defends his belt against a fighter that is very familiar to those of us that watch ProBox TV, Angelo Leo. That fight taking place in New Mexico. And Chris, you will be ringside for that fight in Albuquerque. Angelo Leo saying that Venado Lopez is hittable and has defensive flaws. What do you make of this fight between Leo and Venado Lopez?
Yeah, I'm out here in New Mexico, standing in for Tim Bradley on the ESPN call for this fight, and Angelo Leo, a ProBox TV alum, getting to the big show and fighting for a world title in his hometown. It's a humongous opportunity for him. It's great to see him. See a guy who's cut his teeth on ProBox TV air now making it to get a title fight, especially in his hometown. I mean, fighting your hometown is fantastic, especially for a world title fight. And he's saying that there are opportunities, then he sees flaws in Venado's style that he can take advantage of. And I mean, I'm gonna have to agree with him. I've been doing a lot of studying for this fight, obviously getting ready for the fight on Saturday night, doing fight breakdowns and how they match up. And there are things that Leo does that could really give Venado trouble. Venado is a fantastic guy. He's got great intuitive punching, super athletic, but he's got bad fundamentals in terms of, a traditional boxing style. Fights with his hands down, has his chin up in the air at times, leaps into punches, uses that athleticism. He's a shorter guy with a small reach, has to use explosiveness, athleticism to get in. And Leo, man, he's a much more fundamental boxer, better hand position. He's got a very, very explosive left hook, especially since moving up in weight. He's got good boxing skills. He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside. Obviously, he's done his homework, and he sees where there are positions to take advantage of the champ. But it's one thing to see it and say it. It's another thing to do it, because Venado Lopez is a very, very difficult guy to deal with. He's so intuitive and so creative. It often seems like he doesn't know what he's doing in there, what he's going to do next, but he makes it work. And he brings big power. He's explosive. He hits guys with shots they don't see, and he does damage. This is a really, really good fight. And I know our guy, Leo, is an underdog, but he's a very live dog. And I'm curious to see how this fight plays out, because their styles do match up in a very interesting way.
Yeah, champ, I agree. I think stylistically, the fight can be very, very entertaining. Both guys kind of search for the action and look to create in an offensive way. You're right about Lopez, too, and the way he creates those openings can be a bit tricky on that front as well, and he's strong. And then the problem is with a guy who creates openings, you mentioned a lot of times maybe he doesn't know what he's going to do, and then he ends up creating it. He's a guy who kind of seems to create and adjust on the fly. And when you have a guy like that who also can hit, it can be difficult to figure him out. It can be difficult to time him. Leo is a great body puncher. He's obviously, he had one of a very impressive stoppage to the body here on ProBox TV. But he's also a sharp boxer, and since moving up in weight, has felt and has seemed to have that little bit more energy from not having to leave it all on the scale in trying to make weight. So that extra energy could serve him well in this fight. Two skilled fighters, two fighters who, again, are aggressive and know how to create the openings in a fun way. I think stylistically this fight comes together very nicely in an entertaining way. It's one of those that you really want to be able to see. And we'll see. I mean, Lopez really impressed me in stopping Conlon and some of the other wins he's had. It'll be interesting to see what he can do with Leo. Leo is a tricky guy in his own right.
And Leo, former WBO 122 title holder, belt holder at that weight. So going up to 126, it's going to be a challenge, but it should be an interesting fight between Leo and Lopez. Chris and Paulie, thanks for your time. As usual, great stuff here on Top Stories. And we'd like to remind you, scan the QR code, like, subscribe, and comment to our YouTube channel. I'm George DeMatteis. Thank you for watching Boxing Scene's Top Stories, only on ProBox TV, your boxing channel.
Wednesday Night Fights.
Dynamite action on Wednesday Night Fights every other Wednesday on your boxing channel.
Coming up on your next Wednesday Night Fights, August 21st. Former Unified World Champion Swift Jarrett Hurd takes on former Unified World Champion Jason Banana Rosario. Live from the ProBox Event Center in Plant City. Get your tickets at proboxtv.com or take your chances at the door. Wednesday Night Fights.
For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.